I want to talk about the song Dusk from the album Trespass. Now, before I do, I just want to highlight that this is actually the first non Phil Collins related music. I mean, it's Phil Collins related, obviously, it's Genesis, but Phil Collins had no part in this song or this album. That's okay. I love the track. And I also really love Trespass. And being a huge Phil Collins fan, that's kind of weird, but I think Trespass is fantastic. It's actually one of my favorite early Genesis records, more so than even the records that came after it. But we'll talk about that another day. But I do want to talk about Dusk that came out in 1970. I don't think it was a single or anything, and I'm trying to prevent myself from talking about how much I love this record. And I think aside from the knife, I'm actually not a huge fan of the knife as much as well, it's good. It's great. But anyway, Dusk is a great segue into the knife, and it's a beautiful tune. It's another thing that's really special about this song is it's not like anything they would do afterwards. It's very folksy. It kind of reminds me of some of the more pastoral folk tunes that maybe you would have heard from like Simon and Garfunkel or something, or maybe even like James Taylor. There's so much great stuff happening in this song too. There's the flute. There's kind of like a change in tempo. There's an instrumental section, some kind of like beautiful background vocals. There's a triangle, which actually recently the triangle driving in the car when you have like, because it's like such a high frequency, it pierces through. And when I'm driving, I think it's my phone, even though my iPhone isn't set to that, that triangle sound, that bell sound that you can set your text message to. Mine isn't set to that, but I think it often is because I hear this like high pitched bell sound that comes through in the car. Anyway, triangle doesn't bother me at all. I think it's great. Underutilized instrument.
Never even got to play my stupid triangle.
What I do want to highlight though with this song is that we know that the tracks on From Genesis to Revelation, which came before this album, were very different from the Genesis that we would come to know, especially in the Peter Gabriel era. They were songs that maybe were trying to be like something else or trying to achieve some sort of pop fame or radio play. It wasn't until Trespass that they would kind of discover that classic early Genesis sound. So From Genesis to Revelation is separate from Trespass and beyond. Yet Dusk kind of reminds us a little bit of some of those simpler tunes. And it's also like a bit of foreshadowing from what you might hear in Ripples or in Your Own Special Way. And so these two 12-string guitars from Ant and Mike are just so lovely. This tune is fantastic. I have heard in like various online polls from fans and people making their lists that there's some people don't like this song. Maybe because it kind of is a little bit of a sore thumb, like it sticks out on this record as being more folksy than the other tunes, and of course, more folksy than anything they would go on to do. So I'm curious for you, how do you feel about the song Dusk from the album Trespass? And forgive me, we're not talking about Phil Collins just for a hot 4 minutes.
It's me playing the triangle.
What do you think of Trespass? How do you rank it in your early Peter Gabriel era Genesis songs? For me, I love it. I love this album. Can't wait to do a review on this album one day.